My brain goes in a pretzel with that.
Happy Master
You're
Week.
so giddy for this.
I really have been.
Cheers to that.
It's the best week of the year to be a North American sports fan. Baseball is underway. Hockey's coming down to the end. NBA's coming down to the end. And it's Masters Week.
I'm a little concerned because Thursday I'm playing in the practice round, playing Friday, Saturday, and I'm playing Sunday. So I'm not going to have a lot of face time with the television.
You're a busy guy these days.
Slightly concerning. Episode 11.
Welcome to the Talkin' Divots podcast, episode 11. I'm Steve Byrne.
I'm Jack Snow. Let's get into our recap of the Valero Texas Open. We saw our man JJ Spaun return to the winner's circle. Honestly, didn't catch much of the tournament this weekend. However, I know he wasn't in the lead leading into Sunday or Friday or after Thursday. He must have made a charge. I think he had a pretty darn good Sunday, 17 under, one by one. Bunch of guys, at the top of that leaderboard for T2. Haven't seen JJ win in quite some time since his U.S. Open victory. So good for him to, get back in that winner's circle. I think the field, I know you have your opinions on it too. I'm excited to hear them, but I think, they might have checked out before Masters Week.
I know they did. You could see that there was no sense of urgency in this field. And I was really disappointed in the field over the weekend because the only two guys who played with a sense of urgency were JJ Spaun and Matt Wallace. Now, JJ had a late eagle on 17, perfect drive on that drivable par 4, hit it to 10 feet and just bangs it home. And at that point, it was his tournament to lose. And he was playing so well all of Sunday, but he was the only one who really rose to the top, with the exception, again, of Matt Wallace. This is his second victory at the Valero Texas Open. He won in 22. This, to your point about Scottie Scheffler a couple weeks ago, this is only his third win on tour, including the U.S. Open at Oakmont. This was pretty impressive.
It was good to see JJ win, and so something I want to note from this win, it takes him to 5th in the official world golf rankings. He was sitting at 13 before this tournament. I mean, when you win a U.S. Open, you skyrocket up. I think he was in the top 10 at that point, but, dropped down a little bit with some disappointing finishes. Being 5th in the world is pretty darn impressive for a guy named JJ Spaun.
Pretty impressive for a guy who's, 5 foot nothing, 100 and nothing, hits the ball maybe 280 yards, but doesn't miss fairways, doesn't miss greens, pretty darn good putter, and when he does miss a green, he gets it up and down. He's a damn good player, and I got a ton of respect for him. And I'm going to throw out the first cheers of the night to JJ Spaun. Welcome back to the winner's circle. You did it, bro. Great job.
Nice work.
Cheers.
A couple guys I want to mention from the tournament. Bobby McIntyre, T2, minus 16. He was 66-64 on Thursday, Friday, and then had a 72-70 on the weekend. Was in control most of the tournament and was looking to run away with it. Maybe it was the Masters letdown, who knows? Obviously, he probably wanted to get a W under his belt. And Yo Hisatsune, I've been working on it. Yep, with another top 10 this year. I think he's at 4 or 5 now. Playing some great golf this season. Another Japanese player following Hideki Matsuyama's footsteps. Really just stepping up this season.
You're not going to find any argument from me. You know that Hisatsune is one of my guys. I think he's bound to have a great year. To this point, already checked that box, but moving forward, I think he's got only bigger and better to come. He's just got to get his claws sunk in a little bit deeper to the weekend play.
He's got to get that win.
Yeah. And once he does, maybe sky's the limit for this guy. Who knows? But I do know this. He's young. He's very well liked on tour, so he's going to get practice rounds with the best players. He is on his way. He's a really, really strong player. This past week was a weird one, this weird tournament, because there were several starts and stops, and it was tough for all the players to keep their momentum going. And the week before the Masters, and you alluded to it earlier, guys were checking out. Like, if they were already qualified and they just weren't feeling the Texas vibe anymore, they were just out there serving their sentence. They made the cut, and they were just going to play golf on Saturday and Sunday. They weren't going to compete. I think I saw some people who will be left unnamed kind of fall into that category. But, still a really good tournament. And I was pretty proud of Matt Wallace. I think he dug his claws in there, and he played very well over the weekend. And he's a guy who doesn't get enough credit. But Matt Wallace has been at the cusp of winning several times over the last 2 years. Matt Wallace is a guy who will get it done.
Yeah, he's been on tour for a while, and, we haven't seen him at the top of many leaderboards as of late, but he's a guy, he's tough, and he's tough on the DP World Tour. That's all I got, really, on my recap, and besides our picks.
Yeah, that's it for me, too.
The picks week was a little light. Once again, I went 1 for 3. Steve went 0 for 3. You're still riding the high of that Matty Fitz winner pick, which did you're still in the lead by a lot. But I hit my Siwoo top 10. He was T10, so on Hard Rock, they actually do split out the payment. On other books, they do give you the full odds of the plus 230, so I'm going to give myself the benefit of the doubt. I was net $30. Steve was net $300. However, on the leaderboard throughout the season, I'm still down $820. You're down now, actually, $130. But overall in the lead, $690.
I'll take that.
Little 69 there.
I'll take that.
Pervert.
It's all you. That's all you. What I looked at last week was Aubert to win.
Yeah.
He showed.
He did.
He showed he had a couple bad shots, and they led to bogeys, and that's what happens at any golf tournament, right? Mm-hmm. He just didn't make enough birdies. He let some par fives go. He missed a couple short putts. Hey, that's golf, right? My two biggest letdowns were Spieth and Kiefer, top 10 and top 20 respectively. Spieth, I really thought, okay, this is my time. This is my tournament. He never showed up. He made the cut, and he just never showed up. Kiefer just didn't show up. No. That's okay. I mean, he's young. He's going to learn that every tournament's important. But I didn't know this. He was already in the field for this week's Masters.
Yeah.
I thought he was playing for his life to get in. He was already in. He had finished at the top of the Korn Ferry order of whatever they call it, the money list, I guess. So that qualified
him in.
Yeah. So I didn't know that. So there we go. That's my recap of my picks that were quite poor.
Yeah, well, it's all right. I mean, this is tough. And this week we do have a little bit of a surprise. We're doing 5 total picks, a few different categories. I feel very confident on mine. I think I might go 5 for 5. It'll be a profitable week and weekend for Jack. But, I think we're both eager to get into,
I'm beyond eager.
I mean, you've been jumping right now to set the board for the Masters.
Yes.
We are at Augusta National in Augusta, Georgia.
Yes.
Par 72. I saw the official yardage at 7,565 yards. It's not a short golf course, and they've made it longer over the past few years. We've got a lot of past winners in the field, a couple two-time winners. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps now just introing this Masters because there's so much history there. It's the pinnacle of golf. Every player wants to win this one, and we're going to have a great week.
I agree. I mean, you're a kid. You're on the putting green, 7 o'clock at night. You're waiting for your parents to pick you up. You're banging home a 5-footer to win the green jacket. That is what every kid aspires to win, is the Masters. You find that odd kid who's like, chipping to, get it close to win the Open Championship. That's a weird kid, probably a pretty successful kid. Mm-hmm. But, it was always the Masters. It was always my favorite tournament. I think my dad and I probably skipped church every year to watch the Masters on Sunday. It would be the only day that we skipped church growing up. But yeah, I'm really, really excited for this week. Did you get a weather report?
I don't think I got a direct weather report now.
Yeah,
I know how it's going to be
either.
here.
Yeah.
Which makes me think it might be pretty gnarly in Georgia, but...
Bad weather conditions might make for an interesting Masters, but anytime there's more wind than normal makes for an interesting Masters. You get down into Amen Corner, 11 green, 12, and then tee shot on 13, anything can happen. Anything can happen in that tournament. And I was watching the Rory special, about his, I guess, documentary about winning the Masters last year. And he never gave up in any of the Masters that he was ever a part of, because he always said anything can happen. Anything can happen in these last 5 holes, these 4 holes. Anything can, because it's true. Anything can happen at that tournament, positive or negative. But each year, I look forward to these 5 days, Jack. I mean, I work my entire week around the broadcast schedule. I mean, it's the Masters. I love it. I love it all. I love the footage from the range, from the putting green, from the vast short game area. I love it all. I can't get enough of it. Obviously the highlight of the week comes when the tournament starts on Thursday morning and then concludes on Sunday evening. But there's so many points in between that make this week special every year. And I'm just looking forward to all of it.
Yeah, and I think another bright spot of this tournament is we're getting PGA Tour players and LIV players back in the same field, where, it's a new dynamic that started when this split happened in the first place. But, you look at a few of our previous winners, John Rahm in 2023, DJ in 2020, Patrick Reed coming back. He won in 2018. It's the best players in the world getting together for the first major of the year. And, I mean, I don't know. There's nothing like Augusta. It's so green. It's so perfect. Yeah. It's almost like a cult. I mean, it's scary in a way, but I know these players all look forward to it. What do you have as your winning score prediction this year, not knowing the weather? My guess is I bet they're going to have a little bit of rain.
Yeah,
the wind picks up, dry out the greens, and those greens are hard enough. But,
a winning score prediction at the Masters, this will be just a guess. Yeah. I have no idea. I would always say that 14 under is an incredible score at the Masters. But I would say that I'm going to say 12 under is the winning score this year.
That's exactly what I have.
No kidding.
So maybe this is our handshake bet. So let's set it at 12 and a half.
You want me to take the under or the over?
I'd take the over.
You're going to take the over.
I'll take 13.
Okay, and I'll take 12. Handshake bet of the week.
All right, we're going to start keeping better track of that, because we have one that we want to go over, the UConn Duke bet, which Steve won in a fantastic buzzer beater by UConn, that freshman Mullins. They actually got taken down in the championship last night to Michigan. I hit a nice little parlay with Michigan points on the spread, but that's besides the point. Steve, I believe, is up 4-3 now in the handshake bets, side note, but handshake bet 12 and a half. I took the over. Steve's taking the under. See how that plays out.
All right. And one thing I want to mention, and this is to a point you made earlier about how perfect Augusta is, and it is. It's always so perfect for the Masters, and it's due to 3 very important people. So this is the time of our broadcast that I like to turn to the camera and give a shout out to the maintenance crew of the host facility. This week, the Senior Director of Agronomy is Brent Sayer. This is Brent's second Masters as the Senior Director of Agronomy. His Director of Agronomy and right-hand man is Scott Waddle. And again, the most important guy on the property, the head equipment manager, is Fred Hartenstein. So gentlemen, best of luck to you this week. I'm sure that you and your 50 greenskeepers who work full-time at Augusta, accompanied this week with as many as 100 volunteers from across the nation and across the world, are going to do a great job. Here's to you.
Have a great tournament.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So I'm going to ask for a little bit of indulgence.
Let's get into your first one.
This week, Jack. I know you've seen it, and I've asked for your patience here, and I appreciate it because I've just been so geeked out all week. But I've got a few top 5 lists for the Masters. And I want to start with my top 5 Masters wins. I'm not going to go all the way back because I'm not going to show how old I truly am. But I'm going to start with maybe my favorite victory of all time, and that's Jack Nicklaus in 1986 at 46 years old. Just so many memories from that day, and so many of them were just quotes from the commentators who was in the booth there. Vern Lundquist, Jim Nance was in the booth. I think these were very early on.
Young Nance.
Gosh, it was just an amazing, amazing Sunday. And he was nowhere to really be worried about until the back nine on Sunday. And it was just an amazing charge that he put on. And people forget, he nearly canned like a 40-footer on 18. It wasn't quite that long, but he almost birdied 18 to win by more than one. Just an amazing tournament. Just still gives me goosebumps. I will move on then to the following year, 1987, Augusta native Larry Mize winning the Masters in a dramatic playoff over Greg Norman, chipping in on the 11th hole, which was, I believe, the second playoff hole. Unlikely character. The only Augusta native to ever win the Masters. What a gentleman. I had the privilege of meeting Larry Mize one time, and it was exactly as you would think. He was just a true gentleman, really, really giving of his time, and I've never had anything but great things to say about Larry Mize.
Throwing a little tidbit there, Greg Norman has had 3 runner-up finishes at the Masters.
Yes, he has, and 2 of them were pretty epic collapses. My third, and this is in no real order of importance other than Nicklaus in 86, Ben Crenshaw in 1995, with maybe one of the more emotional Masters victories. It came a week removed from his lifelong teacher, Harvey Penick, having passed away. And I'll never forget the scene from Harvey Penick's funeral, where his pallbearers included Davis Love III, Crenshaw, Tom Kite. It was amazing for Ben to recover emotionally and put himself in a position to win the Masters 11 years after he won his first green jacket. And he has so much of that to thank from his caddy Carl Jackson. Got Ben right on the practice tee on Wednesday. He said, "What are you doing there, man? Put that ball a little bit back in your stance." All of a sudden, Ben Crenshaw started hitting this little draw and kept it all week and just never missed. Guy was amazing. I'll never forget that one. And then I'm going to slip into the modern greatest Masters victory in 1997 when Tiger Woods, I'm here, and I'm here to stay, deal with it. Because his record 12-shot victory, I hope nobody ever beats that, because I never want to be that bored again at the Masters on Sunday.
I don't think anyone ever will. I mean, that was phenomenal. The year before I was born, let's just mention that, but that was, is for me to look back on just absolutely phenomenal, because in the modern day Masters that I've watched, there's nothing like it.
The thing that people forget about Tiger's dominant victory there, his first 9 on Thursday, he shot 40. He made that turn, and I remember seeing him go to 10, and he was pissed. Well, it showed, because those remaining 63 holes, he just tore it up.
And he shot 30 on the back 9 after shooting 40.
Right. And then to finish it all out, I'm going back just to last year. Rory McIlroy completing the Grand Slam, the 6th player in history to do so, and only the 2nd player to complete the Grand Slam at the Masters. That was just a remarkable victory. A guy who just had that monkey on his back for so long. I really did think that Rory was snake bit at the Masters, but you know what? He never gave up. He never quit on himself, and I just love that tournament.
It's a tournament that every golfer wants to win, like we already said, but for Rory, that was the big one, and he needed to get it done, and he did, and it was in a tough playoff against Rosie. But that was a very special moment for me as a golf fan, admiring Rory McIlroy from a young age, and he was kind of my generation when I was in 12, 13 years old coming up, and he was that young guy who could hit the ball a mile and made every putt, and this next exciting guy behind Tiger Woods. to see that win was huge, and to do it in the playoff, I mean, that was cool. It was dramatic. He didn't make it easy for himself, but
He didn't.
He got it done.
He didn't. He'll be the first to say, I should have won it in regulation. He was 125 yards out on the 72nd hole in the middle of the fairway, had a bit of an uneven lie, but he just gaffs it right into the right bunker, makes a good bunker shot, good enough to make the putt, and he just gaffs the putt.
That's when I thought, honestly, it was going to happen again, because he's been close in plenty
Several
of tournaments here.
He's had his fair share of attempts and collapses, but he got it done last year, and I'm looking forward to seeing Rory defend.
Yeah, two of the most, I think, historical and memorable moments of my Masters career are Tiger completing the Tiger Slam in 2001, winning his second Masters. I wasn't, fully aware at that age, 3 years old, to watch the tournament and see it all go down. But I love the history of Tiger, and that just was a great win. And then Jordan Spieth in 2015, which I do remember a little bit more, was a young kid, very eager, kind of coming up, and had a scrappy game, great bunker player, great wedge player, made freaking everything that week. Yeah. And he was 8 under through his first 8 holes through the tournament. He went wire to wire.
Yeah.
Had a little hiccup on Sunday, but fully rebounded. That was really kind of what sparked Jordan Spieth's career. And he's always been tough at the Masters. He hasn't won since, but
he had the lead on Sunday. I want to say it was in 2018 when Reed won.
Yeah.
And he really fell apart on the 12th hole. I want to say he carded an 8 on the 12th hole and just fell out of contention. But that win of his at Augusta, he looked like a high school kid.
He was just so pumped. He's like, this is fucking awesome.
He just had the best time that whole week. Like, it was hard for him to hide that smile. And you catch him throughout, the rounds when you watch the recap. He's smiling. He's enjoying himself. And you don't see enough of that. I thought that was really cool.
He does have that contagious Jordan Spieth smile as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. He's a cool dude, man. He's a guy who's done a lot for the game. He's a guy who continues to, have philanthropic efforts. He's got a great family. He and his sister are super close. And, now that he's a dad, she's a great aunt to his kids, and it's just they're a really, really cool family.
I didn't pick him this week, but it was tough for me not
either.
to. It was tough for me. I'll bet him independently though.
Yeah.
I think he's got a top 20 in him.
My next top 5 is my top 5 Masters moments, and these come from a more recent past than what I just dove into. But again, in no particular order. Tiger's chip in on number 16 in the final round in 2005 against Chris DeMarco. That may be the clip that every person born after 1990 thinks of when they think of the Masters, because it was nothing short of miraculous.
It's an impossible shot.
It was.
It really was.
And there was one person on the planet who could pull it off, and that was Tiger. There might have been 5 people on the planet who could have gotten that shot within 6-7 feet, but only one person could make it, and it was Tiger Woods, and he did it, and it was just remarkable. Do you remember the lie that he had?
It was buried.
It was like kind of up against the collar of the fairway cut and the rough.
Yeah.
And it was very difficult to get the club on the ball.
No club.
The amount of spin that he was able to put on that shot was remarkable.
I mean, he just committed to it and executed, and
only guy in the
rolled
world
down the hill perfectly, broke a little left, broke a little right.
And Nike loved it.
Back of the cup.
Nike loved it because the ball stopped with the swoosh right there.
It was perfect. That's the best commercial I think they've probably ever made.
And they never didn't have to edit it.
Yeah, no.
Just show the footage.
I love to see the revenue on Nike commercials overall and see how well that one did comparatively.
I'd love to know how much Nike had to pay Augusta National to get that footage. It didn't matter. They were going to pay it. They were going to pay it.
Yeah.
My next Masters moment is going to be from Louis Oosthuizen. South Africa's Louis Oosthuizen's Albatross on number 2 in 2012. It was a 253-yard 4-iron. There are 4 total Albatrosses in the, 91-year history of the Masters. incredible. Louis Oosthuizen's got one of them. Each par 5 has got one. And I think the most recent one before this was like Jeff Maggart in like 97 or 98, something like that. Incredible. I remember watching it. I mean, it was just a perfect little fade down the hill, and it catches the slope, and there was no way it was not going in. Once the camera started following it on the green, that thing was in the cup.
He's a guy that I've been in a lot of pick'em leagues in my life, and Louis Oosthuizen was always a guy I'd pick for the Masters because he would show up. And I saw this thing today, and I believe Louis Oosthuizen was in it as well. But it was a few years back when Shane Lowry had his hole-in-one on 16. There was 3 hole-in-ones on that Sunday, and I think it was Louis and Charles Schwartzel and Shane Lowry. 3 on one day on the same hole is pretty darn impressive. I mean, they set that hole up where, if you hit it in the middle of the green, you catch that slope, you got a chance, or if you hit it at the flag, you got a chance. But shout out to Louis.
Yeah.
Miss you, buddy.
What's funny about that pin position is if you catch that bowl, to your point, you're going to have a real short birdie putt or no putt at all. You might make an ace, but if you leave it up top, you have a diabolical putt that you need to hit the cup in order to stop it. That was pretty incredible. What
do you think they're going to get the greens rolling at?
I heard one of the guys out here say yesterday that the Golf Club of Georgia, which hosts the Georgia Cup the day before I guess they're hosting it today, they had their greens at 14. And they try to simulate what these 2 players who play in the Georgia Cup are going to find at Augusta. So I'm going to say Augusta's going to shoot for about 13 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. The weather's going to
13 and a half, 14.
If it starts to rain, they're going to slow down a little bit, but they've got that sub-air system. They can pull that moisture out right away. Augusta is just built different. It's just built different. Going on down the list here, this is one that's probably on everybody's list. Bubba Watson from the trees on 10 in 2012 playoff, hooking a gap wedge that's got to go 160 yards, I think. He had to hook it 45 yards to get it onto the green. Then he spins it up the hill. It was insane to watch live. I remember just, what did I just see? Only Bubba could think that, okay, I can make that shot. Most people would think, okay, I'll put it out there. I'll try to get up and down, go on to the next hole. Nope. He was like, this ends now.
I remember watching that shot as well. I was in my mother's best friend's basement by myself watching the tournament as a young man and watched him hit it from the pine straw, execute it to perfection. Yeah, only Bubba could hit that shot. I mean, he's one of the more creative players that we see in golf. He's in the field this week, one of the only 2-time winners that we have in the field this week. So I wouldn't count him out. He knows the course well, and he can fucking shape shots like the best of them.
Yeah. I think he might be a little out of form right now. But you know what? You can never take away the fact that Bubba has won this tournament twice.
Can't.
Moving on down the list again, Adam Scott in 2013, putting the country, the continent, the island of Australia on his back, saying, I got you. We are going to have a green jacket. His playoff win against Angel Cabrera was incredible. The rain falling, his fist pump at the end, the cameras flashing. It was just, you couldn't write that shit. It was so perfect, and he was such a great champion. And to Angel Cabrera's credit, he was happy for Adam Scott. He was a very good sport about the whole thing. He showed true elegance in the face of what people would look at as despair. He really rose to the occasion and lifted Adam Scott up as well. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, we are a pro Adam Scott podcast, obviously.
Absolutely.
I think the most beautiful swing in golf, technically sound. That win was fantastic, and I saw a clip today, just kind of rewatching that moment where, Bubba was putting the jacket on him in the clubhouse in the post interview, and he just was like, thank you very much. And you could tell he was humbled by that moment because he knew the gravity of that situation and what he just had done. And It really was an amazing moment for him. But yeah, Scotty is well deserving of a green jacket.
That
was a great
swing
win.
hasn't changed, has it?
It hasn't changed a
No.
bit, and he's picked up speed. Like, he's
It's
fucking
amazing.
crushing the ball.
Yeah. He's an incredible athlete. You know, he's a really good surfer. I think he's a really good tennis player as well.
I can see
Wouldn't
it.
surprise me if he was like good at cricket and all those other weird
Cricket.
sport, you know, shark wrestling that they.
Yeah, they do that.
My final Masters moment is one that tugs at everybody's heartstrings who sees it. And it was Hideki Matsuyama's caddy, Shota Hiyafuji, in 2021, putting the stick back in the 18th green, taking his hat off, and bowing in respect to the golf course. Gives me chills, man. Gives me chills. That came out of nowhere. And I remember I was sitting with my buddy Ed Pastana. Shout out Ed Pastana.
Shout out
And
Ed.
we saw that and we were like, oh, that was so cool. That was really an amazing moment. So well captured. It really repped Japan very, very well.
That Hideki win was awesome. I mean, he's a guy who's kind of perfect for Augusta, where it's a ball strikers course where you can't necessarily go at flags. You got to take your medicine and expect the 2-putt for par, and you're very okay with that.
Yeah.
He's a laser iron player, tough guy not to pick this week, along with Adam Scott. Yeah, that win was awesome. That bow was awesome. That will go down in the history of Augusta.
Yeah. Yeah. First major win for Japan. And I think there's more majors in Matsuyama's future.
Oh, yeah.
I think so. I've got 5 Masters traditions that I'd love to share. The first one is the ceremonial starters on Thursday morning. On the first tee, this year it's Nicklaus, Watson, and Gary Player.
Oh.
And I mean, such a great span there. You know, Player came along before Nicklaus, and Nicklaus came along before Watson. Those 3 really ushered each other in, and obviously Arnie helped to usher Jack in as well. But this is going to be a great starting trio to kick off this year's Masters. There have been 11 total ceremonial starters in the history of the Masters. 2 of them, Jock Hutchinson and Fred McLeod, took this honor for the first 13 years. But these guys never won the Masters. There were 4 non-winners besides those guys to be ceremonial starters. Ken Venturi never won the Masters, came close as an amateur twice, but he subbed for Byron Nelson in 1983, and then Lee Elder in 2021. Never won the tournament, but Lee Elder was the first Black American to play in the Masters. He was unable to hit his tee shot in the one year that he was a ceremonial starter, but I thought that was a really, really cool, bridging of that gap when Lee Elder in 2021 was one of the ceremonial starters. That was a really, really cool moment. And sadly, Lee Elder died shortly after that. I believe it was a year later. But what a cool moment to bring back one of golf's true statesmen. Following that, the reigning U.S. amateur champ gets to play with the reigning Masters champ for the first 2 days of the tournament. And I always think this is just the coolest thing. So Mason Howell is going to be geeked out for the first 2 days of this tournament playing with Rory McIlroy. And I'm sure Rory's going to take some time with him and just be, this, but it's not going to be a lot of time because Rory's going to be focused in. He might even take the kid aside and tell him that before the tournament starts. And maybe he'll impart some wisdom before they go out. But what a thrill that's got to be for him.
That's really cool. And, being a young amateur like Mason and being with a guy of the prestige of Rory McIlroy, just being in his presence, watching him hit golf shots is going to be phenomenal. And sure, Rory might take him aside and say, hey, dude, I'm trying to win this tournament. But I'm sure there's some sort of etiquette and just tradition of the past winner taking him a little bit under his wing and saying, hey, I got you for these first few holes. This shot, maybe you want to hit a draw into this green because of the slope here and whatnot, just that local knowledge. No, I think that's really darn cool.
It is cool. And I think Mason Howell is still in high school. I know he's committed somewhere, but I don't know where off the top of my head. I wish I had looked that up. But what a cool moment that's going to be for that kid. And, you know, he gets to relive that moment for 2 straight days at Augusta National. Pretty cool. I love the par 3 tournament on Wednesday before the Masters. And not everybody takes part in the par 3 tournament. And a lot of the legends take part in the par 3 tournament. Like Jack is going to tee it up. He always does. I don't know how many holes he's going to play. I'm sure Watson's going to tee it up. He'll play all of them. Gary Player will probably play all of them. There are so many holes in one on the par 3. It's just great fun. The kids out there in the white jumpsuits, their wives, their girlfriends, their dads, their brothers, whoever. It's just great fun.
Yeah, and they have, their caddies and who are their wives or their kids or family members hit shots on some holes, and saw, another clip fairly recently of Jack Nicklaus's grandson making a hole-in-one. And I mean, that's just awesome. I mean, great way to kick off the week and something you always look forward to. I watch every shot of the par 3 tournament. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
It'll be on tomorrow in
Absolutely.
the office.
You better have that on. What I love about that par 3 tournament is the superstition of nobody ever having won the par 3 and the Masters in the same year. A guy will get to the end and he knows that he's in the lead and he'll have a putt like this to win it or to extend his lead, and he'll knock it into the water on purpose, or he'll pick it up and throw it in the water, and he just doesn't want any part of that. If that's me, I'm knocking that thing in, man. I want something from the Masters.
I mean, that'd be great, yeah.
I'll take whatever I could get.
That superstition is real, though. I mean,
yeah.
it's a funky thing about that whole par 3 thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. That would be an interesting thing to kind of hit Vegas up with. Who's going to be the first guy to win both the par 3 and the Masters? That'd be a long odds thing.
I'm surprised there's not a odds category for the par 3 contest. Who's going to win that?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think you can bet on it. Well, at least on normal sports books, maybe some exotic ones. But
yeah. But could you imagine coming down the stretch and you've got a guy who's going to win it and you had long odds on him and he takes his ball and he throws it in the water? I'd be furious. That's probably why they don't bet on it.
I'd flip the table.
Yeah, exactly. Watch Jack get mad. Moving on down my list, and this is a really cool one because it was something that I didn't know. I pride myself on knowing a lot about the Masters, and I do appreciate the fact that you wore your Masters hat today.
2004.
That's a touch of class.
Phil.
I was there that year.
Fuck yeah.
The presentation of the Silver Cup to the low amateur is a really, really cool thing. Now, an amateur might not make the cut, and therefore the Silver Cup is not handed out that year. We do have 5 amateurs I think it's 5, maybe 6 amateurs in the field this week. And it'll be a very interesting thing to see if an amateur makes the cut and therefore gets the Silver Cup. Now, there have been several players who have won both the Silver Cup and the Green Jacket in their lifetime. This list is Jack Nicklaus, Phil Mickelson, Ben Crenshaw, Tiger Woods, I think you've heard of him, Hideki Matsuyama, and way back in the day, Dr. Kerry Middlecoff. What an amazing bit of golf history those guys own. And who knows when that list will have a new addition to it, but a cool list anyway.
I think this Masters tournament, we might see a new addition to that list.
Yeah.
And I have a little bit of foreshadow to that. I'm not going to spill the beans, but we might see another one added. And yeah, if you're on that list, you're an absolute legend.
Absolutely.
In golf history and in Augusta history. So we might see someone else join that list.
I think I've got a good handshake bet brewing here.
We already have one, so let's get another one.
How about this? Will an amateur make the cut? It could only be one. It could be all of them. Will an amateur make the cut?
I'd say yes.
You are saying yes. I'm going to write that down. Jack, yes. That leaves me to say no.
Do you feel good about it? You don't have to take it.
Oh, I'm going to take it. I will say no. I think these guys are all very qualified. And if they do make the cut, it won't surprise me, but I'm saying no this year.
I'm not too familiar with the amateurs in the field this week. However, I think the young talent is phenomenal these days, and these guys can go shoot a 61, 62. not at Augusta at any given tournament, but they have the talent they can put. They're trained from when they're 3 years old. Everyone thinks they're going to be the next Tiger Woods. But yeah, someone's going to make the cut.
Okay, cool. All right, handshake bet. There we go. We got 2 of them this week.
I like it.
I do too. My final tradition that I just, because it wraps the whole week up, is the presentation of the green jacket in Butler Cabin. The previous year's champ puts the jacket on the newly crowned Masters champion. A little known fact, when a player repeats, and there's only been 3 players who have repeated, Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, and Tiger Woods, the Greens chairman, the tournament chairman is supposed to put the jacket on that champ. Well, that did happen to Nick Faldo and Tiger Woods. Jack Nicklaus had nobody in the cabin with him, so he just put it on himself. In true Jack fashion, he's like, come on, let's get on with it. I've got kids, I got to get on to the next town. So that, after Jack repeated, and I want to say that was 66, he started that tradition. So, you've had guys like Hootie Johnson putting the green jacket on Tiger. It's just a cool thing, that somebody else steps in.
It's awesome to watch, and it just kind of wraps up the tournament in the most perfect fashion of the Masters, where they're wearing their green jacket and they give it to the next guy. And there's a lot of respect between the 2 players because they know what they had to go through that previous year to win the tournament. And they're like, wow, this guy just did it. What an amazing feat. Yeah, no, I'm on board with everything you're saying, man.
Yeah, the Augusta members were instructed to wear their green jackets on property during the tournament several decades ago maybe, so that the patrons could identify them and ask them questions about, hey, where do I go to? Is this okay if I? And those members know everything. They have all the answers to the test. It's really wild. You might even see Peyton Manning there this week.
Do you know how many members there are at Augusta?
I do not.
I don't know off the top. I don't know either.
I would say there's probably about 250.
I thought it was like either less than 200 or less than 300.
Yeah.
I know it's very exclusive, and
yeah, it's the over the history of the club, they've had some very famous members, but the vast bulk of their membership are just successful business people or Georgia royalty.
Right.
But you have your odd famous person like Peyton Manning, Condoleezza Rice, Dwight D. Eisenhower, the former president, was a member there. I believe he's the only member of Augusta National to hold the presidential office.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know that for a fact, but it sounds good.
Back at the country club in the Northeast, I remember when Tom Brady was pretty much living on property and he was trying to get in, and the membership would not allow him because they were like, we don't want the paparazzi around us. We don't want the cameras. And he's like, I just want to play golf at the country club and join. And Tom Brady was getting discriminated in a way to be unable to join the country club. Yeah, I know. Poor Tom.
Tom
he's
Brady.
Got a great life.
I think he joined a pretty nice place up the road here.
Yeah, he did.
Grove 23 is pretty sweet.
Yeah,
so
that place
I think he's doing all right for himself.
Gets to play with Mike a little bit, but yeah, no, he joined as a social member, I believe.
That's hilarious.
And never really got in.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, the GOAT. You'll never get an argument from me. The GOAT. And a damn good golfer.
Who are the GOATs in all of sports history?
Oh, God. You kidding me?
I have 4.
I just mentioned Brady.
5. I have 5.
I just mentioned Brady. He's the best of all time. Baseball's really hard because it's got such a deep history of guys like Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb and Ted Williams. And, if I was to start a baseball team, it would be with Barry Bonds, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. Basketball, Jordan.
What about LeBron?
LeBron's in those talks
Yeah.
for certain. I think Magic Johnson's in those talks for certain.
To be. Larry Bird then has to be.
I think Kobe's in those talks, but I think Jordan is head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yep.
Best cricket player of all? No, I don't know. Best hockey player of all time is not even a discussion. That's Gretzky. I mean, no doubt. Best modern player? McDavid is pretty solid. It's crazy that they wore the same uniform.
Hasn't won a cup.
Hasn't won a cup yet. Hasn't won a cup yet. You might have to go somewhere else to do it at this point.
So,
I've got one more list, and it's a top 5 of little-known facts about Augusta National Golf Club and or the Masters Golf Tournament. I want to start it off with a really weird one that very few people know. And this is that there are roads that run underneath the Augusta National Golf Club property. This is why you don't see golf carts running water and refreshments and people out to areas of the golf course, because there are roads, tunnels that go under the golf course and elevators to bring up supplies and to move people to spots on the golf course.
no idea.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can run a semi-tractor trailer through some of these tunnels. Not all of them. I think there's like one main artery that you can run a semi through, and then, golf carts are in there ready to do
That
their
is
thing.
insane.
Isn't that wild?
Yep.
Good. I'm glad I was able to drop you some knowledge.
Didn't know
today.
that at all.
The Augusta National Golf Club. Was I getting a cheers on that? Oh, I thought I was getting a cheers on that.
No, just a grab.
All right,
Let's hear the
okay.
rest.
Augusta National Golf Club property is 622 acres. That's massive
Yep.
for an 18-hole golf course with a par 3. 622 acres is enough to house 3 championship 18-hole golf courses, a big practice facility, and a par 3. And your clubhouse, maybe even some lodging. That's a big property. It started out with, I think, 325 acres. They've since bought 200 plus acres of the surrounding properties. There is a family, one family that has held out on Stanley Road in the northwest corner of the property, the Thacker family. They will not sell to Augusta National their little, modest 1,900 square foot home because they just don't want to. Now, the Thacker family has sold their other properties to Augusta National, so they're just kind of being a thorn in the side.
I mean, how much do you think that 1,900 square foot house is worth at this point? Pass it down through a few generations. That's a lot of dough.
In Georgia realty numbers, it's probably not worth all that much. But to the membership of Augusta National Golf Club, they've been offered millions
Oh yeah,
several different times
I
for
bet
this
it's
property.
double-digit millions probably at that point.
I think they could get whatever they wanted for it, but
Yeah.
they just refused to sell this one last property.
Good for them. That's actually my cheers.
Oh, I don't get one, but the
Nope.
Thacker family
They
does.
do.
All
For
right.
holding out. Hold that fucking property. Shout out to them.
My third little known fact about Augusta National and the Masters is the caddies at Augusta National. Now, the caddies for the Masters until 1983, it was mandatory that you had to use a local caddy who worked at Augusta National Golf Club. Ben Crenshaw remains to be the only player to, since 1983, to win the Masters while utilizing a local caddy. I mentioned him earlier. His name is Carl Jackson. Crenshaw and Jackson teamed up for both of Crenshaw's Masters victories in 84 and 95. Crenshaw played in a total of 44 Masters before, I think he retired like 5 years ago. Carl Jackson was on the bag for 39 of them. He holds a record for being on the bag for 54 Masters tournaments. That will never, ever be broken. There's just no possible way that anybody could have that long of a career, have that consistent of a career. And Carl Jackson's won it twice. Pretty amazing. When Crenshaw did retire, Carl Jackson was recovering from surgery. I think it was shoulder surgery. So he was unable to carry the bag for Crenshaw, who didn't make the cut that year. But in Ben's final round, Carl Jackson's younger brother, Bud, carried the bag, which I thought was really cool. They're coming up 18, and through the crowd, here comes Carl Jackson, who stands about 6'3", 6'4", coming down through the crowd, and Crenshaw sees him, and I think Ben knew that he was going to be there, but he played it off pretty well, and it was a really cool moment. This guy who was right there in 95 to help Ben stand back up after he just knew that he won the Masters for the second time. And it was a really, really cool thing. He just patting him on the back, just getting him to his feet and brings him, in to sign his card. And here he is taking him off the golf course for the very last time. That was a really, really cool moment.
That's awesome, yeah. And I also love the tradition of the caddies wearing the white jumpsuits, and it's also the number on the bibs is based on when you check in, right?
Well done, Jack.
Yeah, and I love that. And I know some guys are kind of superstitious about their numbers, so they try to time it up. Some don't care, and it's just whatever you get. But I love that tradition as well, just to kind of see what numbers are on. Who's got number 1? Who's got number 50? Who's got... my number 34 is a lucky number for me. So
Walter
who's
Payton.
got that? Yeah, Big Poppy.
Nice. That's good, Jack. I didn't, I it didn't make my list, but it's, it's a honorable mention. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. I was battling back and forth whether that was going to make the top 5.
It's tough with this, and
because there's so much nostalgia that surrounds this tournament. There's so much excitement every year. Dude, I could talk from now until next year's Masters about what I love about this tournament.
I know. You've been talking for the last month about the Masters. And like, Steve, we only get 1 episode. So
we could talk about it again next week.
Yeah, we could do. I mean, we're going to talk about it again.
I can't wait until next week.
Yeah.
But one of my other little known facts is getting banned from Augusta National and the Masters is a real thing. And you can get banned for some very random things. Running. You cannot run on the property of Augusta National.
What if you're a really fast walker?
I wouldn't test those waters. Okay. I wouldn't want to lose that badge.
Good to know.
I just wouldn't want to do it. First of all, they're not fans. They are called patrons, which I think
only
is
patrons.
An interesting distinction. But infractions, will get you banned for life. This isn't just a suspension. You are banned for life. You can't use a camera. You can't take sand from, the bunker. It doesn't matter how close you get to one of them. You get caught taking sand, you're out. If you steal a divot or you grab a piece of turf, you're gone.
You're not talking divots at Augusta.
They are not talking divots at Augusta. Good job, Jack. Now, a lot of people think, they'll get away with something like, yelling individually in a crowd, get in the hole. You're out for that too. And if you think you'll get away with it, you won't. There are cameras everywhere through that property, hidden in trees, hidden in buildings. You will not get away with anything. So don't do nothing stupid. That's all I can tell you is about getting banned for life at Augusta from the Masters, a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, I said it earlier, it's kind of almost like a cult, and it's scary in a way and intimidating and just that big presence. And that's why these players want to win it, because it's such a storied place, so much history there, and it's so prestigious.
My last little tidbit of factoidal knowledge about Augusta National and the Masters. There is only one player in the history of the Masters who has played all 4 rounds in the same year in the 60s. Jack, do you know who that is?
I want to say Cam Smith.
Well done, dude. Well done. Cheers to you, Jack. I don't get any cheers. You, good job.
2020, runner-up for DJ.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you got all sorts of, you're all over this one. Yeah, he did not win that tournament.
Nope.
Despite being the only player in history to shoot all 4 rounds in the 60s, he did not win that tournament, which took place in November, which was the only time it's not taken place in April. But well done, Jack. I'm pretty impressed, man. I'm more than impressed, because that's a random piece of knowledge there.
Yeah. Cam Smith is one of my favorite golfers. And when he went to live, and I haven't seen him play a lot of golf, and he's honestly played some pretty poor golf competing in the majors in the last few years. But I think that segues us very nicely into our Masters picks. I'll go first on this, and I hope we're wrapped up. We got everything.
Thank you for indulging me there. You know that I've been geeking out.
I know, and I enjoyed listening to it. There was a lot of stuff I didn't know. I think I learned a lot, and
I'm here to educate.
I mean, that's what you're here for, just to spread your knowledge on the youth, Just...
Are you going to start with your 30 or are you going to start with your winner?
No, I'm going to start 30. We're going to do a little build up here.
Okay.
And
we going snake or are we going?
We'll go back and forth.
Okay,
We'll just
back
go
and forth. There you go.
Top 30, Cam Smith at plus 170. Once again, one of my favorite golfers to watch play because he's not a phenomenal ball striker and driver of the ball. He sometimes hits a hooky draw with his irons and his tee ball, but he can putt.
Oh, he can
and
putt.
I love that all-black putter. I mean, you've seen my all-black putter. That was modeled after his. Thin blade that he brings back, and he stops it. And when he's on, I mean, he's not missing anything. The British Open a few years ago, I mean, he didn't miss anything when he won. But plus 170 out of the top 30, I think it's insane value. This season on Live, he's finished top 20 in 4 to 5 tournaments. He's been top 10 twice. I don't really know I don't watch a whole lot of Live tournaments, but seems like he's in decent form. He's always played very, very well at the Masters. He's finished in the top 10 in 5 out of 8 of his last starts. Best finish was in 2020 at the T2 DJ year when DJ shot 20 under to break the record. I think he's going to show up this week, and he knows the course. He's had plenty of starts there. I think the Masters and Augusta is very important to have experience there, know where you can miss and where you can't miss. And then you learn the pins. I mean, they're the same pins every year. And, Cam Smith, top 30. What do you got?
That's cool, man, because I am a Cam Smith fan. So I do get bummed out time to time that he's not playing because he's playing for Live. But you know what? He made a choice that was right for him. I am going to go my top 30 with Michael Kim, a player not everybody knows a lot about, myself included. I don't know a lot about Michael Kim, but I see his name over the last 2 years a lot. And I just think this guy's not here by mistake. He's not here by accident. Why not take a chance on Michael Kim at plus 240? I think he's a pretty good value because this guy is a top 20 guy. You know, he hasn't won a tournament yet, but I think Michael Kim's going to be there on that second, third page of the leaderboard come Sunday.
A great finish last week as well. He's a guy that I watched a lot last year. He went through a full swing change. He's a guy who had a lot of game at a young age and kind of had a phase of his career where he was just trying to make cuts. But played a lot of good golf, and he did in 2025.
He's succeeding in making cuts now, man, because I see his name on the weekend a lot.
Yeah. My top 20 is my guy, Sung J M.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
He's plus 300. I think it's insane value. He's only had a few starts this year coming back from an injury, but he had a solo fourth at the Valspar. He's getting back into tournament condition. I mean, you're walking 72 holes. It's not easy. You got to get your legs underneath you. You got to get used to the pressure and whatnot, but he's been a guy who's been doing it for years. At the Masters, he's made 6 starts, has 3 top 10s. So,
wow.
As a ball striker, as his, I'd say, best attribute, this course sets up well for him. He doesn't hit it, he's not going to be top 20 in driving distance, but he doesn't just feint it off the tee. He hits it a good distance, and he's a laser iron player who can draw it, cut it. I love Sung Jae at a top 20. What do you got?
I'm still a little mad at Sung Jae for abandoning me the Houston Open the one time I took him this year.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I'm sure that I'll get over it because I do love his game too. My top 20 pick is Xander Schauffele. Now, this comes at a minus 175, but I just think that Xander Schauffele's got to be on my list somewhere. He hasn't had a great showing this year, but he's had a couple weeks of, okay, there he is again. Yeah, don't forget about this guy. He won 2 majors in 1 year. What was that, 2 years ago? I think Xander, right now, I'd be shocked if he was to walk away with a green jacket. But I think he's a guy who can make a top 20.
Yeah.
I don't know what his record at the Masters is. I don't really care to know these things because then I'll just get bogged down in minutia. I had enough to geek out on this week with all these little AI dives into the Masters and Augusta National. But I like Xander, top 20.
You're going off vibes.
I'm kind of going off of vibes. I'm taking a page out of your book.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to do every now and then.
That's
I've been
cool.
profitable when I've gone off vibes.
Yeah,
to be
you're
honest.
a vibe guy. So, Jack, what's your top 10 pick?
I got Justin Rose. Rosie at plus 275. He's a guy who's 45 years old, right? And I think he's playing some of the best golf of his career in the last 2 years. He's missed a few cuts this year, but he won the Farmers in one of his first starts. And his last start was T13 at the Players. So I think he's got his game together. He's got the ball speed. He's got everything. He's made plenty of starts at Augusta. The Greg Norman reference I made earlier, being tied for the most runner-ups in Masters history. Rosie's tied with him as well, with
Interesting.
3.
Wow.
3 runner-ups at the Masters. And, most recently last year with Rory, heartbreaking loss in the playoff. I think he was super stoked for Rory in a way, but, he knows that's the 3rd time he's lost this tournament. This is going to be his 21st start at the Masters. Wow. And in 20 starts, he's made 15 top 25s. And I think just him being there and knowing the course as well, I think it's a course of knowledge. His intensity, his ability to kind of sack up in the moment and hit the best shot that he can. I like Rosie to finish top 10. I mean, I'll bet him top 20 as well, but I love the value at plus 275.
That's a lot of value for Rosie, a guy who could have won it last year, That's a surprising. I didn't see those odds, or else I would have jumped on Rosie again. This week, you've done it again. If I could pick one of your picks and say, nope, that's too good, throw it away.
Just you wait.
It would be that one. It would be that one, unless you got some more hidden around for me. My top 10 is a winner this season already. I'm going with Cam Young.
Love it.
I think Cam Young has emerged as one of these guys who can finally say, yes, I am one of the best players in the world. Come get me. You want to fight? I'm up for it. Plus 190 to finish in the top 10. So not a great value, but that's because Cam Young could win this tournament. That win at the Players was him kicking a door open that's been shut in his face a few times. I think he has really found his legs. This guy can win this tournament.
He's not going to go away. He's a guy that's in a class of a lot of tour players that I would say is not 1A, but it's the 1B class right there that could win any tournament they enter, any major that they're in. I like that pick a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's hear your top 5.
So my top 5, this was really hard for me between the winner and the top 5 pick, but I'm going to go with Scottie Scheffler in my top 5. And in a way, it's a safety pick. He's plus 140, okay? He's won the tournament twice. His first start of the year, he won the American Express, then he came in 4th, and then he came in 3rd. Then he came in 20th a few times, and everyone's freaking out, like Scottie Scheffler's lost his touch. All right, coming in 20th in a PGA Tour tournament is still pretty darn good. Cashes, a pretty large check. I could see him winning. I really can, and it wouldn't be surprising at all. But I think, he's going to be up there. He's going to probably be in the final group on Sunday or in the last 2 groups, and he's ready. He hasn't made a start since the Players. He was going to play in the Houston Open, but had another child.
Did they have the baby?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah,
Wow.
Congratulations to them,
Yes,
him and Meredith.
Congratulations.
I don't know the baby's name, but congratulations.
Little Scheffler.
Little Scheffler. It's another one. But Scotty's got 2 kids now. I think there is something to the baby bump, the baby boost.
Yeah.
Where you have a baby and you play some really good golf, or baseball players, hit a home run that night. I think he could win, but I'm just going to take him top 5.
I think
Who do you got?
that baby bump is baby bunk. Mm-hmm. I think that's hokum. I think Scotty's good enough on his own. I think that's a really good pick. I think it's kind of a safety pick to pick in finishing top 5, but that's okay.
Who do you got for your top 5, Steve?
My top 5 is my boy Matty Fitz. I like Matty Fitz anywhere throughout this. This kid cashes checks. He is so fast. His ball speed is crazy. He finds fairways. He hits great irons. He chips cross-handed. This guy, he does it all. And he's a great putter. He's just, find me a flaw in Matt Fitzpatrick's game. You can't do it. Again, I don't know what his record at Augusta is. Again, I don't care. I'm going vibes. Matty Fitzpatrick has won this year. I picked him to win when he won the Valspar. That cashed some checks. But, I think Matt Fitzpatrick having his major under his belt from the Brookline, I think that catapulted him. And I think he's yet to catapult himself again. This might be the week that he does it. I have him in top 5. Don't be surprised if Matthew Fitzpatrick wins this tournament.
I wouldn't be shocked at all. And that win at Brookline was phenomenal. I mean, we've talked about it before, that bunker shot on an 18. I stood in that bunker and I looked at it and I'm like, how the hell did you do this?
He did it.
It was phenomenal. And that gave him the confidence to really just be like, I can win any tournament.
He can.
With the best players in the world.
He can.
I'm one of the best players. And he's been going through kind of speed training and ramping himself up and maybe changing his body a little bit. And there's a learning curve there where maybe you're not hitting the most accurate shots in the world. But, hey, he won a few weeks ago. He's been up there a few times. And Matty Fitz, I like that pick a lot.
All right, here's the moment. Give me your winner.
I know, and this one was tough, but I feel pretty darn good about it. Bryson DeChambeau, live guy. I know it hurts. Plus 900. It was plus 1,000 yesterday. I wish I took it, but recently he's won his last 2 starts on live. You see him on YouTube Golf doing the Break 50 or the Break the Course Record series that he's got going on. You just watch him hit the ball, and it's violent. I mean, he's got a swing where he picks up his left foot, his knee bends, but he doesn't, hit it offline all that often. And I know he's a golf nerd and just loves Augusta, and he wants to really win this tournament. He's won a U.S. Open and all that, a couple U.S. Opens, yeah. And I just know he wants this tournament. And I watched an interview of him today in the pre-Augusta, everything. Everyone's sitting down, being very calm, and he seemed very poised. He's like, oh, yeah, answered the questions very well spoken. Maybe put a new he might put a new set of irons in the bag this week, which would be insane. And he's like, the interviewer was like, who's building them? Bettinardi? And he's like, no, myself. He was very pushy of that. So there might be someone involved, but he might be doing it himself. I don't know. I think he's a guy who's always trying to get better, always trying to work on his game. At Augusta, last year he finished T5. The year before he finished T6 after leading, the first round with a 65. His other finishes aren't super memorable, but in 2016, he was the low amateur, and he got the Silver Cup. So a little foreshadow
You
to
did. You
what we were
said
talking
that
about
earlier. Well done. I'm not going to give you a third cheers of the night.
You don't have to.
But that was well done.
He could join that list
Well
as
done.
being, the 6th guy to do that, 5th guy?
7th. That'll be the 7th guy.
He'll be the
I think,
7th
to do
guy.
that.
Yeah, so I like it. Bryson DeChambeau, I think he's got the right mindset. He's got the game. Let's go.
Plus 900. Okay. Whenever I think of Bryson at Augusta, I remember when Bryson was kind of coming off as brash, and he was, he was saying some things that were probably a little bit out of present character, like his present day self. Probably looks back at those comments that he made around, I want to say 2020, 21, that Augusta National is a par 68.
So I'll tell you exactly what he said. It was 2021. He said Augusta National was a par 67 for him, and he barely broke par that week.
Yeah, he did not show that week. Be careful where you poke that bear, because Augusta National is waiting to take a bite out of anybody who wants to poke it. And, I don't think that Bryson is ever going to be totally forgiven for what he said at Augusta by the Augusta membership. I really don't think they will ever even if he wins this tournament, he could win it multiple times. They're never going to love him. They're never going to love him the way they love Tiger, the way they love Jack, the way they loved Arnie, the way they love Faldo. He'll never be in that category because of what he said. And now, was he wrong? Was he right? Who knows? That's immaterial, but you just don't say that. This is like, running at Augusta or taking a divot or taking some sand. You get banned for life. He is probably shunned by that membership.
He's a different type of person.
He has totally changed, too. I mean, he's a really outgoing guy now, and he probably regrets a little bit of that.
Yeah, he probably regrets those comments, and I don't know if he's necessarily changed in a way, but I think people understand him better just because of his presence in YouTube golf and what he's doing. It's a lot of cool stuff. He's getting a lot of famous people, Steph Curry, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, actors, comedians, to play in that Break 50 series with him. And he's kind of just showing more of his true personality rather than what we see on TV or from the media. And he's a very likable guy. He's just a little different. I mean, he's a very analytical brain, and I've learned a lot from him, just how he thinks through a shot. And I can't go through the numbers like he does. He's like, okay, this is 34 feet, this is 2 feet up, and then it's 2 degrees left and then right, and then it's just, no, I'm a field guy through and through, but I think he's got a lot of good value in the way that he approaches golf, and it's not for everyone, but I don't hate the comments. Have confidence in yourself. Augusta's a par 67 for me because I can hit the ball a mile. Well, he was probably 50 pounds heavier and hitting the ball a long ways. He slimmed down a little bit. Still got the speed, but I think he's got a little bit more finesse in his game and a lot of great putting, and that's why I can see him winning this week.
I think that he's a really good pick. I really do. And I'm a Bryson fan. Like, I had no problem with him going to LIV. He was the poster child for LIV. That made perfect sense to me. I love what he does with YouTube because it's creative, it's fun, it's funny. I mean, we're seeing a side of Bryson that we didn't see 3 years ago. And now we're getting to really witness who this guy really is. And, he is a very, very smart guy. I mean, we all know he went to MSU and studied what? Like rocket science.
Rocket science.
I mean, he really did. He's a really super smart guy. And he's just applied that to golf. Good, man. Good for you. The golf needs more of that. Sports needs more of that. Good for him. But I love what he's done on YouTube. I love that he's reached out to every corner of the golfing universe now. So that's a good pick, man.
It's really good content. And who do you have as your winner, Steve, to wrap it all up?
I love my winning pick because it's a heartstring story. It's a guy who's won this year. My pick to win the 2026 Masters is Gary Woodland. He is plus 15,000.
Wow.
So he is a long shot. Yeah. But I see Gary Woodland as having re-emerged. And what a story this would be. What a story this would be. But the fact of the matter is that you've pointed out he's leading the PGA Tour in driving, overall driving. He's hitting this beautiful high fade. And that's what you need to do at Augusta. Hit a high fade into those greens because a fade stops faster than a draw, right? Gary Woodland, if he wins this event, this will be the greatest full circle comeback story in major golf history.
Maybe major sports history, honestly.
Maybe. Nobody. I can't think of another guy who has had brain surgery and come back to play his sport at the highest level. So he does this.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
I think his win at the Houston Open was probably the story of the year. If he wins Augusta, I mean, listen, he's got the game. He just won on the PGA Tour. He's got the ball speed. It's insane for his age and how he's progressed. I like it. Yeah. Great value pick. I might sprinkle a little bit on that. I'm going to sprinkle a few bucks on that.
Good.
Why not?
But I love the way he plays. I really do. It's like a lot of these guys will follow up a great drive with a mediocre wedge or a mediocre second shot into a par 5 and have no real chance at eagle. Gary Woodland doesn't do that. He'll hit a bad drive and hit a miraculous second shot. He'll hit a great drive and a great second shot. he'll follow up a really good, solid shot into a par 5 with 2 really solid putts for a birdie. He's just solid. This guy is built for majors. He's got that stoic, laser-honed attitude where, yeah, you want to put blinders on? I was born with these blinders. Come get me.
Yeah.
I like Gary Woodland, man. I'm excited for him this week.
I like it. I think final cheers of the night. Well, I'll give it to Gary. I'll give it to Gary and your pick. And you.
All right, I feel like I'm
But
in that.
more to Gary.
More to Gary. Way more to Gary.
Way more to Gary. Well, I think that wraps up episode 11 of the Talking Divots podcast. Please check us out on all our socials. The full episodes will be on Spotify and YouTube. We will have shorts and clips of our Where's the First Tee series, which we wrapped up the other night. No spoilers of what happened. Those will be posted throughout the week and through Masters. We might get the final video on Sunday. I am Jack Snow.
I'm Steve Byrne. Enjoy the Masters, and we'll see you next time on Talking Divots. Cheers.
Cheers.
Good job, kid.
Make it, we win it. Watch it roll slow. Talking divots, 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 rolling putts for the win. Flush our wedge, watch it land by the pin.